the gift-giving season, and we have a gift for you. Visit us online at KBLA.store for holiday savings of 20% off all of our KBLA swag. For the best in merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store right now. And be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all our official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580, at 20% off, but only during the holiday season. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Yeah, dope boy, this is the official hustler's anthem. You getting money? Throw it in the air.
Guess who's possessed? Still smell my clothes like Krispy Kreme. I was cooking the moles. Like horseshoes, I was tossing the moles. Time to re-up, gotta recycle the flow. I'm emotional, I hug the block. Ayy, I'm so emotional, I love my chance rules everything around me. So what's realer? About this thriller, call me a ghost face killer. It's kinda hard to be drug-free when Georgia Power won't give a lights free. Switch hustles been killing them ever since. Get paid to tell the truth, dog, it only makes sense. When they play that new G's, all the dope boys go crazy. Now watch the dope boys go crazy.
Welcome in. It's Monday. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. I, of course, am your host, Jill Munroe. I hope you had an exciting weekend. December, y'all. It's only about 3.5 more weeks left in 2023. This year has flown by. I don't know about for you, but for me, I cannot believe that we are almost at 2024. Really and truly. So, like I said, this is the show where we hit all the trending topics across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. We're going to get into some things tonight because, on Mondays, whenever we come back from the weekend, there is always a lot to discuss. Like a lot to discuss. So, of course, I'm going to give you the rundown of the topics that we're going to get into on this Good Monday. First and foremost, before I even do that, do you know what December 4th is? Of course you do. It is Jay-Z's birthday, so we have to shout out Jigga, Hove, the Rock, CEO of the ROC, Hove. Shout out to Jay-Z. And, did you go check out Renaissance over the weekend? The movie, $33 to attend. We're going to give you some numbers on that, of course, because we keep up with Beyonce here, and we're going to get into that. But the rundown for tonight's show, you heard Jeezy at the top. We love a good theme, and let me tell you, there is actually a theme for tonight's show. The theme for tonight's show is Love, Lies, and Heartbreak, because we're getting into a lot of love, a lot of renewed love, a lot of not your typical love situations, and, some departures and some breakups and all of that. So that is the theme for tonight. But our first hour, we're going to be discussing Jeannie Mai and Jeezy. They fired shots off at each other over the weekend, and Jeannie appeared on the Jennifer Hudson show today and revealed some information about how she discovered the divorce. And even though Jeezy told us in his conversation with Nia Long a couple weeks ago that real ninjas don't cheat, Jeannie says, not so fast, and is claiming that Jeezy cheated on her. So we're going to get into that. In hour 2, we're going to discuss Emmy winner Sheryl Lee Ralph. She has gotten a resurgence in the popular conscience with the success of Abbott Elementary. So she has recently announced that she and her husband of 18 years, are going to finally live together. They have not living together during the course of their relationship, but will start now. So I'm going to give you details as to why their living arrangement was as such. And then we're going to talk about unconventional marriages and living arrangements. And some might say that those 15 years apart, kind of, seeing each other every other week or so, might have been what kept them together. We don't know. And again, continuing with our theme, Tracy Edmonds and Deion Sanders, they've been together for 11 years, engaged for 4. Well, they announced over the weekend that they have parted ways. And, they said they're going to remain friends. But some fans, because you social media people are so judgy and mean. Some fans are saying that, Tracy wasted her time being in a relationship for 11 years that didn't amount to marriage. So we're going to get into that and get your thoughts on that. And I'll share mine. All of that. Of course, before we get into those topics, there's a couple of conversation starters that we have to get into really quickly to share with you so that, you're informed, and we might get into the further details later on down the line. First up, I have to tell you, yesterday I attended the 2023 African American Film Critics TV Honors Awards. I was a presenter. Some of the awards that were given away: P-Valley got Best TV Drama, Abbott Elementary Best Comedy, Best New Show, Mo, that's on Netflix, Best Documentary, The 1619 Project, Best Limited Series, The Best Man, The Final Chapters, Best TV Movie, this was the category I presented, very fittingly, Shooting Stars on Peacock, that is the story of LeBron James' early climb into success with his high school teammates. Breakout star was Jessica Williams on Shrinking, and the Best Ensemble Cast was P-Valley. Delroy Lindo, Danny Glover, and Marla Gibbs were also honored. It was a great event. It took place at the Casa Del Mar Hotel. Jennifer Hudson, received the Breakout Star of the Year award, and she was really overcome with emotion. She said the award will go right next to her Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony, because she is an EGOT, and this award will sit right there. And, as she was overcome with emotion, she told us you can't cry and sing. So she did break out into song. And so we got a spontaneous Jennifer Hudson treat. What she sang the first verse of Talk About a Child That Do Love Jesus. So, we had church on a Sunday at lunch. So it was a nice afternoon. Shout out to Gil Robinson and the African American Film Critics Association. They will be having the film honors coming up in February. So shout out to them. Also, listen, we're going to get into this story later, but I just want to let you know, LeBron James had a little altercation on Saturday at a game with a coach. We're going to talk a little bit about that and get into that. And we're going to get into those Beyonce numbers for Renaissance. Like I said, did you go? Did you go? That and so much more. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Happy Kwanzaa from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, Black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any Black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look, and unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at the gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Now, I didn't mention this before, but of course, if you want to join into the conversation at any point tonight, 800-920-1580. Of course, hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill everywhere. So give us a follow, give us a shout, download the app. If you want to, split this up into parts on your own, we welcome that. So let's get into these stories. I mentioned Renaissance. Renaissance grossed $21 million. It broke the record for the biggest post-Thanksgiving opening on a Friday of all time in the United States. Traditionally, the weekend after Thanksgiving is a slow one for movie theaters because, people did all that during the holiday, and then they're trying to hurry up and get ready for the winter break, if they're so lucky enough to have one. And, it's generally a little light. So Beyonce's still breaking records 25 years into her career. Of course, there's some Taylor Swift fans that are making the comparison of their numbers, which I think is kind of ridiculous when you think about who Taylor's core audience is and who Beyonce's core audience is and the age range of them. So that's that. We're not going to get too much into that. If you want to know the numbers, Taylor's first weekend for the Eras Tour docu-film, concert film, brought in $92 million. And I think 30 million of that was international. So, they are both huge sellers. But of course, all of this joins the company of several other concert films that, Beyonce's in line with or right there with. Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus, The Best of Both Worlds concert. That was in 2008. That debuted with 31 million. 2011, Justin Bieber's Never Say Never. And 2009, Michael Jackson's This Is It, I worked on that project, was 23.2 million. So it's right in line with that. And to go along with the Renaissance album, she can add #1 album, a #1 single, a #1 tour, and now a #1 movie. So Beyonce is definitely holding it down. Also, congratulations are in order to Ashanti and Nelly. They are expecting a little one. People have been talking about it, dropping hints. You saw the social media comments. Someone said a couple months ago, Nelly, you need to put one in her. And he was like, we working on that. Little did we know it was already in play already. So, it is Nelly's third child. He has an older daughter, Chanel, she's 29, and a son, Cornell Hayes III, 24. And it's, of course, Ashanti's first child. She's 43. And, they look so happy in their reconnection. I'm happy for them. Andy?
So you mean to tell me
yes,
that the community was pushing for them to get pregnant.
No, they wanted them to get married.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to
No.
make sure.
They wanted them to get. It was
Okay.
one of your fellow men, brother, and then like you need to put one in her, bruh. I'm just saying. But no, and that is something of a conversation, and it kind of ties into the conversation we're going to have later about Tracy Edmonds and Deion Sanders. People are wondering why, at this age, knowing that they have been together off and on for about 10 years, what was it, 2003-ish to 2013-ish, and they're now reconnecting. Why did a marriage, a ring, not come before the baby? I'm going to say you can't choose God's timing. I'm going to say that, as a woman in entertainment, right? And we know Nelly seems to have a lot of money. He's been involved in a lot of ventures, seems to be financially secure. However, as a woman involved in entertainment, right, we've seen the marriages kind of get a little tricky, get a little wiggly for both sides, right? We've seen Mary's had to pay out a great deal of money. Sherry Shepherd had to pay out a great deal of money. There's, a bunch of others Tisha Campbell talked about her struggles with divorce. There's a lot of women that, have ended up in some interesting situations. So maybe at this age, they know that they're comfortable with each other. They know that they are committed to each other. And the marriage for them, perhaps, I don't know, but perhaps is just, a formality and has nothing to do with how they feel as far as a commitment to each other and, may make it easier for the other business ventures, money, things of like that. Because mixing money can cause problems too. So I don't know. We'll just say congratulations on that. Fahima in the chat says, was Armand White and Nishimura, pardon me if I mispronounced that, Lindo in the house? I am not certain. It is very possible that they were, but Delroy, I love Delroy's spirit. He has a very humble spirit, and he always seems to be taken aback when his flowers are given to him, and he is someone that genuinely appreciates it, and I love his approach to his art and his work. So it was a special experience. Urban Spencer says Renaissance opened in less theater than Taylor Swift's movie as well. That is correct. She opened in about half as less theaters as Taylor. There's also a little bit more to go as far as international markets. But realistically, when I think about the fact Taylor's audience is basically teen girls, right? White teen girls. Beyonce, more black women and gay black men, gay men, whomever, right? So the numbers in general of the people are going to be smaller. Now, I'm not saying that those are their only audiences or that there's no cross, but I just think that realistically, Beyonce's, even though Taylor is in her 30s now, well into it, people still think of her as a younger girl, and her audience projects a little younger. So I think the fanatical aspect of it, as far as when you're talking about younger girls, younger age, not that the Beehive isn't their own entity, but I just think it's different and it brings out different behavior for things like that. Urban Spencer also said, clearly Tracy didn't mind being married to Deion Sanders. They both had previous marriages and her ex's baby face. They weren't actually married, though. They were just engaged. They got engaged in 2019, had been together for some amount of time before that. But I, too, think there might have been a reason, maybe, why it wasn't, ideal initially to run and jump into marriage. But we'll have to see. At any rate, speaking of marriage, let's talk about Jeannie and Jeezy. Now, over the weekend, Jeannie revealed that, Jeezy filed court papers to basically get a custody schedule in place for his daughter. He alleged that Jeannie was keeping his daughter away from him, and Jeannie fired back with her own counterclaim. So she accused Jeezy, who said real ninjas don't cheat. That's not what they do. She said that he was unfaithful in their relationship, and she filed a motion, And, it is part of their prenup that if there is any cheating going on, he has to pay up, those infidelity clauses. They're in trouble. So her lawyer said the wife reserves the right to amend this counterclaim to add other grounds for divorce, but which wife does not wish to specify at this time, in the hope that this matter can be resolved without having to disclose such conduct publicly. Basically, she's saying, pay up or I will make you look bad. That's what it is. Short order, right? It also says wife further shows that the court should enforce paragraph 8 of the prenuptial agreement regarding infidelity, which provides in pertinent part that in the event that either party engages in sexual relations, an emotional relationship, or is emotionally or sexually suggestive in communication. So that means just a conversation, just maybe flirting with a third party via all forms of electronic communications, including but not limited to texting, sexting, FaceTiming, social media, and or direct messages, shall result in a significant financial penalty, upon the adulterous party. So, baby, don't send that little emoji. That could be considered texting, sexting, or flirting. You're going to have to pay up. Anything. So, he may not have actually engaged in a full-blown situation, but there's a lot that could be considered infidelity as far as their prenup is written out. So basically, Jeannie is saying she doesn't want all their business in the streets. She wants to protect Jeezy, but give me more money to do so and don't complain about it. Right? Right. And so she also was on the Jennifer Hudson show today, and she revealed that she found out about the divorce like the rest of us did via social media. Let's hear what she had to say.
Jeannie, things are different from the last time you were here. Some unexpected news broke about your marriage.
I was going through things, and marriage ended in divorce, and it was kind of hard. So yeah, it's what I'm dealing with day by day,
And how are you doing now?
Well, I think I'm doing better now. I think at the time when I found out, at the same time as the rest of the world, that my marriage was ending in divorce, I was gutted. So yeah. Today, it's about picking up the pieces. It's about discovering me and being a mom to the best blessing in my life, my little girl.
Accentuating the positive and the beauty in life.
Even though this year I met the most broken version of me, I also met the strongest version of me.
I love
today.
how you said that. That's going to empower so many.
Yeah.
So, it's Jeannie's turn. Jeezy got his chance to go on his media tour and kind of set the pace. So now it's Jeannie's turn. That's what happens when you're talking about two famous people in a relationship. But I wonder, would it change people's opinion of Jeezy following that interview if he had stepped out? Because everyone has been pretty adamant because he was the first to file. He said the marriage was broken beyond repair, and initially Jeannie was hopeful that they could come back together. Do we believe that Jeezy, who said real ninjas don't do that, was actually, obviously we don't know, we're speculating, was actually cheating? Or do you think it could be something as simple as looking at some of the details of their prenup, maybe just, a smiley face, a double tack on a light on a picture? I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. Andy?
I really don't know but what's disappointing to me is obviously them divorcing. And it just makes me wish that they probably would have dated maybe a little bit more longer before they made that decision, because they're just, for anybody who wants to get married, it puts a bad light on marriage. You know what I'm saying? People are like, well, look at the statistics and stuff like that. To me, it's like, what happened to the vows? What happened to, for better or for worse? It feels as if like they didn't even try to at least work things out. You know what I mean? I wish they just would have took a little bit more time to maybe date before they went ahead and jumped the broom.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe they were kind of a pandemic relationship, yeah?
I have no idea.
I think that they were. And I wonder, and we've sort of talked about this, if because, for a lot of couples, that was a turning point. It either brought them closer together or showed them, hey, this probably isn't really going to work out. And I wonder if spending so much time together and, of the circumstances, unprecedented times that we were living in, if the relationship maybe felt as if they knew each other and were way more connected than maybe they actually were, and didn't fully understand things. Like if the rumors are true that, there are certain traditions and ways and structures which Asian households uphold as far as their family and their living situations and things of that nature, and that might have been contrary to what Jeezy was expecting. And maybe they didn't get that far in the conversations.
That's a shame.
Maybe.
That's a shame. I mean, come on. She's an Asian woman. Now, there's obviously going to be some sort of cultural differences. That should have been discussed beforehand.
But see, is it because I think sometimes people forget there are sometimes, not just with Asian people, but people of another race that maybe have developed an affinity for one culture or the other and spend more time in it. So the assumption is, well, they flow like I flow.
Nah, man, you don't never assume in no relationship. You better ask questions. That's the problem with a lot of people in relationships, or just in general. It doesn't even have to be relationships. It could be, your coworker, your friend, or whatever. You can't assume sometimes. If you're assuming something, go ahead and at least ask so you could be verified.
I agree with that. I wonder if, when people talk about men upgrading, or when he get on, he gonna leave you for a whatever, right? An exotical and other, and the assumption is automatically that they are of a higher class level, or that the family structure is something that you should ascribe to a certain degree in some ways. And I think sometimes, again, not fully understanding that there's more to it as far as the tradition and the structure and why some of these things come into play. I wonder if it's just kind of blinders, or just the assumption that things look a little better, and then when you get up close, it's kind of different.
All I'm going to say is this, and I know you're going to talk about this or talk about them a little bit later, but who knows? If the pandemic brought them together and they saw too much of each other, maybe they should take notes of who we're going to talk about a little bit later on the show.
Okay, well, there it is. I mean, like I said, tonight's theme, love, lies, heartbreak, and everything in between, because we have a lot of stories related to relationships. And it's kind of crazy because it's the holidays. Usually people wait until after the holidays to make these announcements or to go through this type of stuff, but it's happening beforehand. I don't know. Seems like a shift. A definite shift in the energy in the universe. When we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. We're going to talk about what happened with Braun and Amy Udoka, because that was interesting. There was some language there. All of that and more. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
More than a relief pitcher, I'm the closer. The Mariano of the Marriott. If money talks, the whole world about to hear me out. See, I'm a hustler's hope. I'm not his pipe dreams. So when they speak of success, I'm what they might mean. Attract money, my worst color is light green. My favorite hue is Jay-Z blue. Don't follow me, young, and follow my moves. I'm not a role model. A bad influence got the world drinking gold bottles. When Puff was in that tub spilling mo, I was at my video, Chris on a speedboat. In my lifetime, go do your research. St. Thomas money, that was me first. Chrome shoe, the GS, I came feet first.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is helping kick off DMV Black Restaurant Week. The mayor plans to announce the latest round of Food Access Fund grants at a ribbon-cutting ceremony for a new restaurant in Ward 7. The fund was launched in 2021 to help increase access to grocery stores, restaurants, and other food access points in the D.C. area. DMV Black Restaurant Week will continue through December 10th. Dave Chappelle is giving credit to his alma mater as a place that prepared him for the criticism that sometimes accompanies his style of comedy. Chappelle made a surprise appearance at D.C.'s Duke Ellington School of the Arts to take part in a masterclass on the topic of arts as activism. Chappelle, who is Black, also took the time to visit with students in different classes during the visit. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Sponsored by Boost Infinite.
It's the gift-giving season, and we have a gift for you. Visit us online at KBLA.store for holiday savings of 20% off all of our KBLA swag. For the best in merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store right now. And be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all our official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580, at 20% off, but only during the holiday season. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Did you know that every year, public school teachers spend nearly $500 of their own money for student supplies? At Donors Choose, we want students and teachers to have the tools they need for a great education. And now, more than ever, they need your help. Go to DonorsChoose.org and choose from teachers' requests that support reading, math, science, music, and more. Learn more at DonorsChoose.org.
Donors Choose. Support a classroom.
Build a future.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Today, young adults face big questions about their future. How will you make your mark? Do you want to be part of something bigger than yourself? Are you ready to learn new skills and make new friendships? Perhaps you have a dream that you're ready to make real. So, how will you make a mark with your future? As you embark on a journey toward finding these answers, the military can serve as a resource for providing help, information, and opportunities. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit today'smilitary.com.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You were locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Andy, was that K. Michelle? Okay, that's what I thought. That was like early K. Michelle too, right? That's what I thought. That was, never mind. I was going to make an inappropriate joke. I like K. Michelle though. I mess with K. Michelle. She's always real and honest, you know, and she has evolved. And I'm happy to see her in her country bag. She seems really happy there. She performed at, what was that, the CMAs a few weeks ago. She was into it. So listen, as I mentioned, what's up, Andy?
Totally random.
Yes.
I felt like you shared it on Thursday. I just saw the Soul Train Awards this past weekend, and I was curious, why do they have it at Keke Palmer's backyard? Like they couldn't find no venue to do this.
That was not Keke Palmer's backyard. I figured
that, like, fronting, huh?
It was a house in the Hollywood Hills. I think one budget change. You have to remember the Soul Train Awards is produced by BET, right? And BET was kind of on the market this year, right? So there are adjustments that when you're in that kind of position, there are adjustments sometimes that upper level executives or management will make as you are a property that is for sale, that they try to make you more attractive, more lean. So they may cut corners with certain things and make things easier. Usually the Soul Train Awards is done out in Vegas. Might have had something to do with the strike as well, because remember, the writer's strike had ended, but I don't know if that impacted how far in advance the writers for the show. So maybe they didn't want to put as much into the budget under those circumstances. So I just think it was a little bit different approach this year.
All I know is I hope that for everybody that was there, especially the performances, especially the ladies, I hope they had like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or some hot chocolate.
Because it was so cold out there?
Man.
Listen.
I'm just like, I'm looking at this wind blowing and I'm like, they gotta be freezing outside.
And it was cold that weekend. It was really cold. They shot this about 2 weeks ago, and it was the Sunday before Thanksgiving, I believe, that they shot it. And approvals, I think, for the carpet and things went out pretty last minute. I know I got an invite to cover the red carpet and I was unable to. And wasn't that unhappy because it was cold. And let me tell you, being outside on a cold or a wet, rainy red carpet, no fun. No fun at all. So, shout out to the ladies that braved the elements to put on a good show. Coco Jones was out there rocking with SWV. Saw that. Some other things. Okay, so listen, what did I say? The theme for the night is going to be love, lies, and heartache. Maybe love, lies, and heartbreak. I don't know. Some variation of that, some theme of that, right? So in continuing on with such, not sure if you were a fan of Love and Hip Hop, but there was a couple on there, Lyrica Anderson, and she was married to a gentleman named A1. Lyrica is not only an artist, but she's a songwriter. She's written hits for Beyonce, a bunch of other people. And she and A1 are separated, divorcing. And in their divorce, she wants her wedding ring and a cut of $1 million in music royalties from her husband. Of course, divorce filings reveal a lot of things. And, in those documents, you have to put in what you are earning as far as, from all sources, your employment, your investments, whatever. Well, Lyrica reveals that she averages $2,000 a month, right? So she, according to Radar Online, wants a portion of those music royalties. She said that she is owed that, and that her monthly expenses are really about $4,000, but she only brings in $2,000. They were married in 2016. They separated in 2020. They have a 4-year-old son, Ocean, who is primarily in his mother's custody. And, listen, divorce is sad. Andy, do you believe in the reality TV curse? Do you think that people doom their relationships when they expose them to reality TV?
I never thought about it being a curse, but I can definitely see how, airing out your relationship for the world to see can be very damaging.
Because I think in one point it allows people project a lot. And so they might see things that maybe aren't a problem to you or weren't a problem for you. And now you're looking at those things sideways, or you're focusing on things that the audience feels or, your fans feel are important, that maybe in the grand scheme of things aren't that big of an issue for you. But there's not a lot of couples that have made it through. I actually will have an interview coming up for us later this week from one of the housewives, she's not a housewife. She's on Married to Medicine, Dr. Simone. And we talked about that. We talked about the fact that she almost went through a divorce publicly on the show, but she actually said the show saved her marriage. And we also talk about how being on the show almost broke up her 20-year friendship. So we have interviews with Dr. Simone and Sweet Tea Letitia. Letitia's a new addition to the cast. She married Dr. G. I don't know if you guys keep up with all that, but we have that coming later this week. We actually have a lot of interviews coming up this week and over the next couple of weeks. In addition to that, we have interviews with Robin Thede, Chris Redd, and DC Young Fly from Candy Cane Lane. And I think next week we will have interviews with Jeffrey Wright and Sterling K. Brown from American Fiction. So a lot of good interviews coming up for the show. We're out there getting it in, and I'm going to tell you in advance a little bit, you're going to want to see American Fiction. And if you have not checked out Candy Cane Lane, which stars Eddie Murphy and Tracy Ellis Ross, it's on Prime Video. Funny. Good. It's a cute little way to spend the weekend, a little dark. Check that out, Eddie and Reginald Hudlin. We heard that interview last week from Reggie, who is the director of it. And they first teamed together in Boomerang. So 30 years later, them reconnecting. It's an amazing, amazing thing. different types of love. Urban Spencer says the award show was whack. Outside with the wind blowing, no ma'am. The elements did hit kind of hard. I think they just wanted to bring the people something. They just wanted to, make sure that the property was still out there in effect. Maybe it'll probably be different next year. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics, more headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
From our heart to your heart. Happy holidays to you and the ones you love from KBLA Talk 1580.
This open enrollment season, LA Care Covered is offering health plans starting at $0 a month. Each plan provides benefits including $0 preventive services, 24/7 telehealth services, around-the-clock nurse advice lines, walk-in minute clinics, and more. Shop and compare premium silver plans with $0 deductibles to help meet your health goals. Ready to shop? Visit us online at lacarecovered.org for a commitment-free instant quote or speak with us directly at 855-222-4239. LA Care Covered, your affordable path to wellness.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, in downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Again, we are continuing with the theme of love, lies, and heartache or heartbreak. Whichever one, they kind of go together, right? And we're not wishing that on anyone, though. We only want to hear about love, ultimately. But, sometimes there are other things. So this is a story about love. Congratulations are in order. Over the weekend, Terrence J., formerly of BET's 106 in Park, Think Like a Man, is producing things. He got engaged to his girlfriend, Michaela Sultan. They have been together, I think, for about 2 or 3 years. And, of course, because like I said, you people are mean and judgy at times. People are saying, congratulations, but one, they still want to know who was in the car with Terrence J when he had the car accident a few years ago. And 2, they have questions as to why Terrence J at 41 is engaged or dating a 25-year-old model from Miami. And y'all just got to let people love the people that they love. They're all adults. I think there is an overcorrection. I know that, in past times, there was not as much concern outside of superficial for a lot of people as far as, inappropriate age situations and things of that nature. But people are adults, and you do have to allow adults to make adult decisions no matter how you personally feel about it, So much love to them. Congratulations. And we hope to see beautiful wedding pictures soon. Okay, so into the chat, Fahima says, I love Jeffrey Wright. Awesome as Basquiat. Robin Thede is a comedic genius. Sad that Black Lady sketch show ended. So yeah, it was a good show. It had a good run. What was it? 4 seasons. Extremely proud of that. She produced it. It's an Emmy-winning show. So, and, at the end of the run, a lot of those immaculate wardrobe pieces and some of the ones that were just regular got donated to women that deservedly needed them. So everything can't last forever. I'm happy that it was in existence, and, we will see what happens next for Robin, but that's going to be a good interview. So you guys check that out. So anyway, continuing on with our theme of love, lies, heartache, and heartbreak, we got one to watch. And again, social media is so observant. Sometimes I wonder, do people just randomly sit around and decide, oh, I'm going to see if this person is still following their significant other on social media today? Because sometimes I wonder how you guys find this stuff. I really do. I just wonder. I'm not saying, listen, I am a naturally curious person. So I understand sometimes you're going to check some things like, I wonder what's going on here. But with the speed and the accuracy of some of these things, I am truly confused. Like, what's your day look like? You might need to go touch grass a little bit. I don't know. Andy?
Look, there's people in this world who have no life, none whatsoever.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have friends of mine where it don't matter what time I post, which I rarely do. But when I do post,
you are secret squirrel with the post.
I swear, like these handful of individuals, I swear, be the first to either like, view. I'll be like, yo, do you go to sleep? It could be 9 a.m., first person to see it. It could be 3 a.m., first person to see it. I'm just like, you just live your life on social media.
So here's the thing, for me, I know that sometimes I will wake up in the middle of the night and doom scroll because, you don't want to do anything else. But I do try to avoid hitting on at least people I know, their photos at that, between 12 and 6. Because one, I think you think people are going to be like, weird. What are you doing? Go to sleep, weirdo. And 2, I don't know. There's so many covert rules to social media at various times. You don't know if you're inadvertently breaking one or stepping into one. Like, if you like somebody's pic at 3 a.m, is that flirting or is that just you're up? You're
just up.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But people read things wrong and they misconstrue. And then it's like, what are you doing? Or you get to that DM slide and you're like, hey, I didn't even read it. It looked like an interesting image. Double tap and kept it moving. Okay.
Now, if you have, let's say 200 posts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've been on Instagram since, 2014. And you like that first pic from 2014. Yeah.
That's something else. You going back. Or when they like 5 or 6 pictures in a row. It's like, notice me.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not notice me. It's, I like you. I'm digging you.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
You gonna like 20 posts of mine in a row? Yeah. You definitely trying to get my attention, but you're also saying something too.
So I kind of along those lines, I have something funny that happened a couple months ago. I went somewhere. I don't want to say where, but I went somewhere, and there was artists participating in this event where I went to, right? Celebs, artists, whatever you want to term it. And so, like you do sometimes, you go to an event and you take your little video or your photo and you tag the people that are in the thing. Like, hey, you did this. Shout out to you, whatever, right? So, like 3 weeks after I did this, one of the individuals that I tagged came back through and started liking a bunch of my pictures and sent me a DM. And I was like, are we really doing this? Like, I felt, right? I'm like, this is kind of, what do you got going on? You missing some attention and some spotlight right now. I was embarrassed for this individual.
Yeah, he was trying to get your attention.
I mean, but this is weeks later, and it literally was just, hey, these people are at the event. Cool. I don't know. But I could tell in the message that he was kind of letting me know, like, hey, I'm available. You want to spit game?
Yeah, so
I'm
weird
here.
about that?
Come get it. Nothing is weird about, but I think that there's a certain thing. I feel like that is off the natural order of things. I am not, just because you made yourself available, I'm not going to be like, well, what's up, boo? You trying to see me? We trying to talk? No, that's not how it goes.
I mean, he's fishing.
He is fishing. And I understand you probably throwing that pole in a lot of ponds trying to see which one got bait.
Absolutely.
But my pond, you ain't got the right bait, homie. If the bait requires me to bait my own hook, set myself up like, here, dinner, I'm cool.
I mean, he didn't know that.
I know, but it just felt really like, you missed the heyday. That's what it felt like. You missed the heyday when it was easy.
So he was late.
Not to me. He probably wouldn't have worked that back just because he's not someone that would be my type in theory. But just the approach, I can't be the track star. Not only, no disrespect, just because I feel like it sets up the wrong dynamics in a relationship. That's all for me. It doesn't make me comfortable. Fahima says, some people are lifeless of their own. Very true. Urban Spencer says, I have a celeb crush who I don't follow because he's a little too thirst trappy, but I'll check out his Instagram every once in a while liking multiple posts if I haven't seen them.
You follow him. Just because you don't follow him don't mean you don't follow him. You know how to get to said celebrity crush page. You feel me?
The algorithm will bring it to you if
Absolutely,
you don't go looking for it.
Yeah.
So, I'm not mad at that either. But sometimes, to preserve the respect of certain people, to preserve my enjoyment of them, I cannot follow them on Instagram because they get way too off in their personal life. And I just want to like you for your art sometimes, because some of y'all are weird. Just playing. When we come forward, more trending topics and headlines. We're going to get into Cheryl Lee Ralph and her husband of 18 years. They have lived separately up until now. So we're going to discuss, is that okay? Is that a model for relationships? Could it help fix some things? We're going to get into that. We're also going to talk more potential breakups. There is a famous hip hop couple that, spoiler alert, unfollowed each other on social media. So we're going to get into that. Of course, more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Supposed to be with you, that's what everybody would tell me. I can't